Well, we are now counting hours, days to the start of the biggest football fiesta in the world, talking about the FIFA World Cup. 48 countries from 7 different continents will vie for the coveted trophy. It promises to be interesting at the United States of America, Canada, and of course, Mexico. Welcome to an edition of Sports Hangout. Of course, it's the World Cup special. My name is Toby. I've got my guy here, Joseph. How you doing, Joseph?
Very fine. It's good to be here again on another episode.
We have a lot of things to talk about regarding the FIFA World Cup. I want to ask you, Joseph, preparation ahead of the start of this competition from the Football Federation, FIFA, and regarding the host country, I saw fantastic stadium from USA, Canada, and Mexico. Are you impressed with what you have seen so far regarding preparation for the World Cup?
Well, I think it's a spectacle, no doubt about it, because a lot of people always say right from time that America particularly is not a footballing nation. I mean, they call football soccer and they mix the whole thing up together. But I think it's shaping up to be interesting because one thing we know about is we are now acclimatized to the MLS because of a particular player, Lionel Messi. And of course, I think it has been interesting. The only difference now is the biggest issue of the time zone. And the
time zone,
I mean, if you're watching an MLS match, you can be up 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Early in the morning. But
I also think that they've been able to get the right balance because there are some games that will play around 8 p.m., 11 p.m., some around 2 a.m., some around 4 a.m. So, I mean, Mexico, 3 different countries, Mexico, Canada, and of course, United States of America.
Yeah, of course. The only thing is basically the time zone. But I think the first kickoff game, Mexico, South Africa, is 8 p.m.
the opening game on Thursday.
On Thursday, 8 p.m. Nigerian time. So it's going to be interesting. I think the consequent games after that, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. thereabouts. So I think it's going to be a mix. But for passionate lovers of football, they would be up at any point in time to watch football. I mean, people stay up at night to watch the NBA, the basketball league.
Definitely.
So I think it's not really much of a problem. But the problems teams are having, the problems some fans will be having is the weather. Maybe the African teams, I mean, the African countries, they may not have any problem with it.
I saw the 3 Lions training clip yesterday, and see Marcus Rashford was sweating. He was sweating because they are not used to this kind of weather, but it's what it is.
Yeah, it is. And there will be weather breaks. I think it's quite similar to what we saw in Qatar.
Yes,
because 2022. Because they even had to move it to later in the year. So, of course, the United States of America is more of a hot region than, of course, the Europe generally. It's the American continent. So, Mexico, Canada, USA, they have more temperate regions than these other regions. But I think it's going to be, maybe to favor the African nations, who knows?
Maybe.
The likes of Morocco, the likes of course, Ghana, South Africa, Senegal, and the rest. So I think it's definitely going to be interesting for the spectacle. And of course, a lot of talks have been going on about the structure of the World Cup. Particularly, there will be halftime shows. It's now giving the vibe of the American football, where they have the Super Bowl, where you have a break. So I think it's just a lot of controversial things going on at this World Cup.
All right, I want to ask you about this, Joseph, because we're having 48 countries in this competition. That's the first time we're having these many countries playing at the FIFA World Cup. By the way, this is also the first time 3 countries will be hosting the World Cup. I think in 2002 we had Korea, Japan, but this is the first time 3 nations will be hosting the FIFA World Cup. And then, unlike previous editions where when you qualify from your group, you go into the round of 16. There is a round of 32 in this one. So that means if you qualify from your group, the round of 32, round of 16, quarter-final, semi-final, and then the final. So you have a longer route to the final. Do you think that this one will give us a world champion because we are playing more matches compared to other World Cup games that we have seen?
Well, I think the biggest problem is what happens towards the tail end of the World Cup, given the fact that we now have a more shortened pre-season ahead of the next season for football clubs. And of course, on a normal day, it just takes, a World Cup event takes about a month. But now we'll have a month and about 9 days extra thereabout. So for teams that will be more matches, for nations that about 400 matches plus thereabout. So for for nations that will be going to the latter stages of the World Cup, we know that the particular players of football clubs, they are going to be affected. And remember, we're now having injury crises here and there. The likes of Leonard Carl out. Now the most recent one is Wesley.
And some players are pulled out of the competition.
They've pulled out of the competition, particularly Wesley of a Brazilian team who was replaced by Ederson. So there's just a lot of injury concerns at the end of the day. And remember that we've been talking in previous years about the number of matches that football players have to play in the season. And of course, they go on international break, they play competitions like the Nations League.
So they carry over to the World Cup, and then the season will start like 4 weeks after. I mean, too many games for these guys.
Too many. And
they're also collecting money too. They have a lot of money anyway. They should not complain.
And I think later on, I think the Nations League will be this year also, if I'm correct. So there's also a lot of games, a lot of happenings at this point in time. But I think the managers, they have to do well. They have to manage their teams. Particularly, a lot of people have come out to dash out on the Portuguese manager for playing Bruno Fernandes for about 90 minutes, friendly game before the World Cup. And we're having injury concerns here and there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. And the expanded format, more games, maybe more entertainment at the end of the day.
All right. Now, interesting. Going to a competition like this, there will be favorites, definitely. But let me give you this interesting stat that just 8 countries have ever won the World Cup before. Just 8 countries. 8 countries. And those 8 countries are from 2 continents. Europe and Latin America. So the 5 countries that have won the World Cup from Europe are Spain, Germany, Italy, France, and of course England. Those are the 5 countries that have won the World Cup from Europe. And from Latin America, or you call it South America, Brazil, Argentina, and of course Uruguay. It means that the other 5 continents of the world, they just come to the World Cup to register their princes and they will go back. Asia, Africa, North America, Antarctica, and of course Australia. Those other continents, they will just come to the World Cup and of course they will mark a register and then return back to their various countries. So I want to ask you, who are the favorites for this World Cup? Let's talk about top 3 for you. Favorites going to this World Cup based on quality, based on recent history, and based on their managerial pedigree as well.
Well, of course, I should be putting Argentina as number 1.
They won the World Cup last time out in Qatar. You think they can defend it? By the way, when last did a country defend the World Cup? I can't remember. Yeah,
it's been a long time, no doubt. And of course, history stands against Argentina. Why do I say so? For the number 1 ranked team before a World Cup, they've never gone on to win the World Cup. So Argentina is currently ranked number 1 at this point in time, heading into the World Cup 2026.
In fact, Joseph, from 1998, if you look at history, from 1998, that's always been the bad World Cup for the defending champions in their subsequent competition. In 1998, France won the World Cup. In 2002, when they were supposed to defend the World Cup, they got knocked out in the first round. As a matter of fact, they lost their first game to Senegal. In 2002, Brazil won the World Cup in 2002. In 2006, they got knocked out in the quarterfinal. In 2006, Italy won the World Cup. In 2010, they got knocked out in the first round of the competition. In 2010, it was Spain that won the World Cup. In 2014, they got knocked out in the first round of the competition. So that's always been very difficult for the defending champion. Do you think Argentina can break this jinx this time around?
Well, they possibly can. Remember, in 2022, their first game actually
they lost to Saudi Arabia.
They lost to Saudi Arabia, and a lot of question marks were going to Lionel Scaloni and of course his team about their pedigree and what they could do at the end of the day. And we know what happened. The history happened. But I think the only country that would have done it should have been France, especially in the finals. Remember, France defeated Argentina in the quarterfinals. They got to the finals next time in Qatar. And of course, they were close to defeating Argentina. Remember, it was 3 goals in regulation time before they had to play extra time. And of course, they lost on penalties. So I think for France coming too close, I don't think Argentina would come that close.
So for you, Joseph, your first pick is Argentina. You think that Argentina would defend this title?
They have the class, they have the players, they have the quality.
Fan?
I'm not
against okay, I get
I mean, I'm with the 2 goats at this point in time. I don't believe in.
So Argentina for you is the first choice.
Yeah, Argentina.
So tell me 2 other countries that you feel that can challenge for the title.
Well, it has to be France. They have one of the best attack in the world. The likes of Mateta, the likes of Dembele, the likes of Bakola, the likes of Kylian Mbappe, the likes of Olise. Name them, Ryan Cherki. They have a fantastic front line. And let's not forget that they see star quality midfield, particularly an N'Golo Kante still in that squad.
Definitely.
They have the likes of Rabiot.
He has the experience of winning the World Cup. He won it in 2018.
2018, when the likes of Pogba were still, in the mix of things. So I think for France, they stand a good challenge at the end of the day, coming as one of the favorites. And let's not forget their defensive line. They look very strong, they look very solid. Saliba, Upamecano, and of course...
Don't mention Ibrahima Konate.
No, Konate is... he will likely be a bench warmer at this World Cup. So I think my number 3, it's a tough pick, but let me favor an African country.
We'll talk about that in a bit. So you think an African country...
Morocco went close.
Okay.
So I think this year, Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast, winning the World Cup.
Yes.
A joker. but okay, but before we leave these aspects, before we talk about the African countries, let's talk about two countries, Portugal and of course England. I'm surprised that you didn't mention Spain. Yes, I understand that Spain are going to this competition with, in terms of their quality, by their own standard. I saw the 26-man squad of Spain. Just they are not star-studded like that. They are just mixture of elite players and combination of average players as well. Not like the 2010 team that won the World Cup. But the Spanish team is still a force to reckon with. In the World Cup, definitely. By the way, David Raya is now their first choice goalkeepers going to the World Cup, so they've got quality. Out of Portugal under Cristiano Ronaldo, so you feel that Portugal with Vitinha, with Ronaldo, with Bruno Fernandes, you are not even talking about them as the favourites. Why?
Well, for Portugal,
is it because they have not won it before?
That always stands as one thing. Another thing is, I think there's just a mix of things at this point in time. I think England, they are similar to Germany in terms of a mix of squad and all that quality, old players,
average players.
So I mean, Germany out of the mix for me, England out of the mix. Portugal makes sense.
You think England is out of the mix?
I think England is out of the mix.
England have been knocking on the doors for a very long time. At the Euros, they got to the final last time out. The last Euros also, they got to go to the final.
Italy knocked,
I think they got to the semi-finals last time in the World Cup. So they've been getting close to winning a major competition. By the way, the last time England won the World Cup was in 1966. That's the last time, and that's the only time they won the World Cup. 1966.
There's also an history that at the World Cup, no foreign manager has actually gone on to win the World Cup.
And Thomas Tuchel, a German,
is in
charge of 3 lands of England. So you think that because of this, England is not going to win the World Cup? They don't have.
I don't think they are going to win the World Cup. Even if I'm going to maybe favor a third team, I don't think it will be. England. I think it will be Spain. That I missed out on.
Why is it that you don't like Portugal? Portugal, they have a star-studded team.
Of course, their midfield, the likes of Vitinha, the likes of Neves, no doubt about it. Bruno Fernandes, these guys are in the squad, but I really don't see them as. I see them as another Belgium. Remember Belgium 4 years ago under Chivas, they had the golden generation, but they could not do anything.
Lukaku and the rest.
They could not do anything at the end of the day. So I think it's giving that similar vibe with Portugal. It's now or never, to be honest, for a particular Cristiano Ronaldo. Remember, they would have done it against Morocco. If they had beaten Morocco, maybe gone on route to the finals, maybe they would have stood a chance at the end of the day. But I think with the way the group is set, the way the teams are going to be picked at this point, I don't think Portugal can face Argentina in the finals. I think they'll face most likely in the quarterfinals with the way the teams are at this point. So it's either Lionel Messi all through or maybe Cristiano Ronaldo all through. But Roberto Mancini, I mean, the head coach, rather
of Martinez.
Roberto Martinez, I beg your pardon. I think he has what it takes at this point to maybe bring glory to Portugal at the end of the day. But there's always one statement that the English national team always make: "It's coming home, it's coming home." It did not come home for them at the last edition of the Nations League. So I don't think it will happen for them at the end of the day.
Let's talk. We've been talking about favorites for this competition. You mentioned Spain, you mentioned France, Argentina as the defending champion, but let's talk about probability of having a dark horse in the semi-final or the final. Now, in 2018, was it in 2018 that Croatia got to the final? 2018 got to the final of the World Cup. They lost to France expectedly. Do you think that we are going to have a similar situation this time around? Remember, Morocco also got to the semi-finals last time out, and nobody saw that coming. So do you think that we have a dark horse in this quarter-final, semi-final right now? When I say dark horse, I mean countries that nobody thought that. I mean, for example, you just see a Curacao in the quarter-final, or probably Norway. Who I'm talking about. Do you think those countries can just find themselves in the quarter-final, semi-final?
I think if any country will do maybe what Greece did in 2004 against Portugal in the finals of the Euros, I think a particular nation, talking about Norway. They can do it.
They've got the quality.
They have the quality, likes of Soloth, Haaland, Odegaard, Nusa. So these guys are fantastic players for their club side, and I think their midfield is stacked to a certain extent. Martin Odegaard will be leading the national team. I think they stand a chance as being one of the dark horses, and a lot of people, they've been talking about this particular Norwegian team, so I think they really stand a chance. I would have picked Sweden, but Sweden right from time, they've been inconsistent. I think the golden era of having Ibrahimovic and Co has gone by. And another nation you say that maybe would have stood a chance, maybe would have been Uruguay. But Uruguay, no Suarez, no. I mean, at this point,
those
guys have gone. So it's just a mix of things. Ugarte.
Ugarte is from Uruguay now.
Yeah, it's from Uruguay. Well, I think if any nation wants to, I really will not count Uruguay.
But Joseph, why are people not talking about the Samba boys of Brazil? By the way, Brazil have they have what, 5 World Cup trophies. I mean, the most successful team in the history of the World Cup. People are not talking about them. They have an experienced manager in Carlo Ancelotti. So I don't know why people are not talking about Brazil to win the World Cup.
Well, I think for Brazil, it's similar to England. The fact that there's a new gaffer.
They've got quality as well in that team.
Yeah, they do.
Though you could argue that if you place the quality in the Brazilian national team with other countries, maybe they're not close. And they've got Thiago, they've got Neymar, they've got other guys also in that team.
And people have even said that the way Thiago is playing ball, it seems like he's slow on the ball. I mean, we've seen friendly games for Brazil. And I think for the Brazilian national team, they are the only nation in this world so far to have gone for each World Cup event.
Yeah.
So
that should count for something.
Yeah, of course, it counts for something. It's a good record for them. But I don't think the spirit of Pelé would come on them like the spirit of Maradona.
By the last time they won it was in 2002.
Yes,
since that time they've not.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time coming, and their golden boy Neymar Jr.
is in the team.
He's in the team, but we cannot guarantee that he will be fit throughout. So that's another big issue for them. Who else is in that team? Okay, the likes of Vinicius Jr., Marcus Skriniar. Remember also Rodrigo is injured.
He got injured
at this point. So
they've got Casemiro as well in that team. They've got experience as well. They've got Gabriel Magalhaes. They've got Marquinhos. They've got quality. They've got Alisson Becker. They've got Henderson. They have quality in that team.
Even a certain Casemiro.
Yeah, Casemiro and the United new signing Henderson is also part of that team.
I think it's a mix of things for the Brazilian squad. It now depends on the experience of Ancelotti can count. Remember, a certain Luis Enrique was in charge of Spain some years ago. Yeah. And we know how it ended for him. A certain Hansi Flick of Barcelona was also in the German national team. And we know what happened. Sometimes when coaches transition from club side to national side, they don't always live up to expectation. Only few coaches have been able to do that.
But Graham Potter is doing decently well with Sweden.
With Sweden, but yes, we can say that the World Cup has not started. Maybe when they face the bigger guns, maybe we will now see the true Graham Potter.
All right, let's narrow this conversation to African countries. Unfortunately, the Super Eagles of Nigeria will not be at the World Cup. That's no longer news anyway. I mean, Nigerians have actually come to terms with that reality that the Super Eagles will not be at the World Cup. But 10 African countries will be at the FIFA World Cup. That's the most the continent has produced since the World Cup started in 1930. 10 African countries, 9 qualified automatically, 1 qualified through the playoff. That's DR Congo. So 10 African countries. Last time out, Joseph, Morocco got to the semi-finals. Although the rhetoric that, I mean, because after Morocco got to the semi-finals, they started making some headlines. We know that Morocco is an African country. They started saying that they are the first Arab nation. We know that Morocco is an African country, but you know this issue with religion and stuff like that. Morocco got to the semi-finals last time out in Qatar. Do you think any African country will match that record or surpass it? And if you think so, what among these African countries do you think they can do that?
Well, only few of them, let's be frank. I don't think the Senegalese national team, they are strong, of course, but...
technically, they are the African champions. Because it's very difficult to say. If they ask you right now, who is African champions? Some will say Morocco, some will say Senegal. You can say Morocco, because Senegal won the AFCON, but CAF gave it to Morocco. So let's say the 2 African champions.
So I think that is also going to be an issue with some people because by official standards, the commentators are most likely going to say Morocco AFCON winners.
Yes, AFCON winners,
but it's looking interesting because for Ivory Coast, remember before this, the last AFCON, the previous AFCON edition, they were the ones that won it at the end of the year at the expense of Nigeria.
Yes.
So for Ivory Coast, they still have a strong side.
They've got players. They've got Yohan Diomande. They've got Amad Diallo as well. They've got players.
They have quality players, and we know what they can do at the end of the day. We've seen them over time in continental glory. So I think for Ivory Coast, they stand a chance, and Morocco can still beat their record and go further.
So you think Morocco can get to the final?
Well, they defeated Spain. They defeated Portugal.
Don't you think they were lucky last time out?
Well, luck.
I saw that game against Portugal. They defended with their lives.
Of course, and it just shows you the, the strength of this. Some will say Arab nation, but I'll say the strength of this.
They played
African
last time to European countries. I mean, Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt.
Egypt, And of course, I think only Tunisia is the only North African country that maybe in terms of footballing wise, they are not always as strong in recent times compared to the rest. I think Egypt, they are not going to be close because the record stands against them that they've not won a game at a World Cup event. So I think Egypt is out of the equation. Cape Verde,
they have multiple AFCON trophies.
They have more. That's also the continental glory might not always. I mean, stand up for you in terms of the world event.
So you are saying that Morocco, will repeat the feat of 2022-2026?
They have what it takes.
Because remember they have a new manager right now. They sacked their manager. The manager that took them to semi-final. So they have a new manager right now. Those two things that will affect them in this World Cup. They've got quality players. There is Hakimi. There is this guy that lost the penalty, Brahim Diaz. He's still part of the team, but don't you think that the change in the managerial position will affect them in this competition?
Well, no doubt it may affect them, but looking at the group they are in, they are going to face the likes of Brazil, they're going to face Scotland,
I think Haiti.
Of course, it's a tough group, but it's not impossible. Maybe they can finish second in the group,
or third, best loser,
and go on to the next round. But they have to keep in mind that if they finish third, they'll face a strong opposition. If they finish second, they'll face a stronger opposition. So at best, they can do the impossible of finishing number one on the group.
Interestingly, both of us are historians, so I want us to use history right now. Now, Cape Verde, they are going to the World Cup for the first time in their history. Arguably the smallest African country going to the World Cup. Now, from 2002 till now, I know that World Cup debutants, especially from African continent, have been doing fantastically well. I mean, remember Ghana in 2006? They got to the round of senior quarter final. Angola as well, Cote d'Ivoire also in their first. Do you think that Cape Verde going to this competition will show the rest of the world that there's a country called Cape Verde? People are not talking about those smaller African countries, smaller countries, because they feel that maybe they don't have enough quality. But do you think that Cape Verde, for example, Cape Verde qualified, they were in the same group with, is it Cameroon? And they qualify as good. That should count for something.
Well, it should, but when you're looking at continental, like I said earlier, is sometimes different from world events. And I think their group is definitely tough. We have Saudi Arabia that defeated Argentina in the last
is not,
maybe it was a fluke, but I mean, they have the likes of Uruguay. They've won the World Cup before. They have the experience. They have relatively a better or more quality squad. They have Spain. I mean,
former world champion. They won the World Cup in 2010.
Yeah, so it's going to be tough for Cape Verde, but maybe they can finish third and qualify through that route. But it's looking likely that they may be out on the group stage. I don't think history will count for them in this sense. So I think for Cape Verde, they can try their best. Of course, we wish all African nations the best.
So we'll be rooting for them since Nigeria is not there. Lastly, Joseph, can you please speculate or just predict who the top scorer will be? Just think. I mean, look at the strikers going to the World Cup. Harry Kane going to the World Cup with a fantastic form. I mean, other players. Do you think Harry Kane will get the golden boot? Tell me who do you think will get that golden boot?
Well, I have two players in mind actually. Number one, the one you mentioned, Harry Kane. He's on fantastic form. Remember their last friendly against New Zealand.
And he'll be taking penalties for England too.
He'll be taking penalties. So I think he really stands a chance at this World Cup. Remember in previous editions we've been saying a particular Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe, in terms of form, he may not be maybe the outright man. I think the second person I'm also tipping aside from Harry Kane should be Ousmane Dembele.
Ousmane Dembele?
Yeah, I mean a lot of.
But he doesn't play as a centre forward for France.
Yeah, but he doesn't find it hard to score goals. Maybe it's just like maybe if a particular Vika Kvaratskhelia qualified with his nation, Georgia, to the World Cup, maybe we would have seen him on the score. Because there's one thing about players when sometimes if they don't hit a particular form in club side, they go on to the national team and they do fantastic. I'm not really putting Kylian Mbappe out of the equation, but Harry Kane stands for one being the best goal scorer of the previous season.
Definitely.
And of course, Ousmane Dembele, a Ballon d'Or winner. I think he stands a chance really to get that golden boot at the end of the day.
All right. Let's just anchor the podcast, Sport Hangout. Interesting that the World Cup will start on Thursday. The first game, 8 p.m. Nigerian time on Thursday. Mexico will take on South Africa. Well, South Africa also opened the World Cup in 2010. Remember that Shabalala goal, fantastic goal. I hope that we are going to do something similar to that, of course, on Thursday. The opening game of the FIFA World Cup, Canada, Mexico, and of course, United States of America. Just like I said the other time, 48 countries participating in this competition from 7 continents, just one trophy. And just 8 countries have ever won the World Cup before. Are we going to have a new winner this time around in 2026. Will it be possible? Only time will tell. I want to get your reactions, your comments. Tell us, who do you think will win the FIFA World Cup this year? Is it going to be the usual suspects, Spain, Brazil, Argentina, or do you think we are going to have a new winner in 2026? Until next time that we are going to meet, I remain Toby.
And Joseph, it's been a pleasure.